So you're sitting in Spanish class, or you're logged into Spanish class, and you're realizing that you have forgotten a lot of the Spanish you used to know last year. Don't worry, if that is you and you're freaking out trying to figure out how you can get your Spanish back before your Spanish teacher realizes you forgot everything you learned before, take a breath. This video is for you. My name is Maria Jernigan. I'm a high school Spanish teacher, so I can help you in that regard, and I'm also the founder and CEO of Redshift Education. The first thing I'm gonna tell you as a Spanish teacher myself is that your teachers are not expecting perfection. It is common, it is expected that August or September, you will be a little bit worse at Spanish than you were last May, June. I think a lot of times students feel a ton of pressure to be perfect right out of the gate and show that they're not lazy and they did Duolingo all summer long. Let me give you permission to shed that expectation of yourself. It's a-okay. First of all, if you are watching Netflix in Spanish or consuming any kind of content in Spanish, hoping to regain your Spanish from listening and watching it, and you have English subtitles on, stop that. Stop, seriously, because when we have subtitles in English, we're at least keeping part of our brain in English mode. And in order to acquire a language naturally, not memorize it, not study it, acquire it, and actually be able to use it, which of course is my goal for you, I don't want you to be in English mode. However, subtitles, if you're at that level of Spanish where with subtitles in Spanish, you can actually understand what they're saying, that is a good technique. Audio in Spanish, subtitles also in Spanish. And that way, sometimes you can pick up on words that you can recognize when it's written out, but because of their dialect or speed, you might not be able to pick out just by listening. So if you are like Spanish 4 and above, that kind of technique could be good for you. But what about if you're in a lower level class? What about if you are in Spanish 2 and you just finished 1 year of Spanish 1, a good chunk of it was during quarantine, and who knows how much of that you really retained. I would say find some content in the target language in Spanish that is something you can joke about and laugh at, but is also below the level you used to be at. Like watching Sesame Street in Spanish, children's stories in Spanish, a cartoon dubbed in Spanish. You can find stories you already know kind of how they go in English. That will start to expose you again to what the language sounds like, how to pronounce words correctly, how to form sentences correctly, just kind of exposing yourself to how this language works and how it's put together. Don't try to memorize a lot of words out of context on Quizlet and bring them to class. It's just gonna feel like a lot of extra work. And that leads us to some common approach that a lot of my students try, which is I need to do some extra Spanish, so they turn to an app like Duolingo. There's some pros and cons to this. The con, obviously, is you're already having homework for Spanish and all your other classes, and this is some extra work that you will feel guilty if you don't complete. So if Duolingo is fun for you and you enjoy keeping your streak and, you know, racking up the XP, cool. But if it just feels like an extra chore to tack on and it's not something that you've already built into your routine, I would actually recommend against that for starters. And final tip, and this one's so important, no matter what level you are, even if you're an absolute beginner, please include speaking in conversation in your regimen for reactivating your Spanish. If you're not using the language to communicate and you're just memorizing words on Quizlet or Duolingo or Rosetta Stone or what have you, why are you learning this language? We learn language to communicate, and that's what makes it enjoyable and makes it invigorating. Find someone else in your class who feels a little bit rusty and wants to do better, and just spend 10 minutes on Discord, text messages, phone calls, Zoom, whatever, Instagram, whatever, speaking in Spanish with whatever Spanish you got. Don't worry about being wrong. Don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about looking up a couple words if you need to, but just start remembering how to use all the modes of communication, not just interpretive, not just listening. I hope you found that helpful. If you did, please subscribe below. And again, my name is Maria Jernigan. I put out videos at least once a week that are all about me as a Spanish teacher helping you, a Spanish student, figure out how to do this thing we call speaking Spanish. All right, see you next time. Adios.